Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Spy Family, Episode 3. So, Episode 2 introduced us to Yor Breyer, the woman who is going to play as the mother figure in our Spy Family. She is an assassin known as Thorn Princess, who is very good at her job, but outside of it is a very timid, very nervous, and self-conflicted young lady who's just trying to live what she hopes to be a normal life. She wants to be seen as normal. She wants to just have her brother proud of her and stuff. And she's very cutesy, very nice. And at the end, she and Lloyd end up creating this cover for themselves. In order to be mutually beneficial, they decide to officially get married and pretend to be husband and wife for the sake of both of their missions, basically. Though they seem to both be unknowing of each other's lives. Yor doesn't seem to know that, even despite what she had just gone through with him in episode 2, that Lloyd is actually a spy. And he doesn't know that she's an assassin. So it's going to be interesting to see how they work through their different jobs and stuff without letting the other know. And while Yor has kind of met Anya before, I feel like it's going to become really, like, we're going to have a true, meeting between them in this episode. We're going to have them actually, talk with each other and get to know each other. And for the sake of this spy family, Yor is going to be introduced as Anya's mother. And Anya, being the cute little girl she is just going to eat this up. She's going to obviously be reading their minds the entire time and know that they're both liars. But she's going to be all good with this. So I'm definitely interested to see where all of this goes and how it affects their missions, especially Lloyd's, since we've been following him a little longer. As I said last time, though, I really do enjoy Yor's character so far. She's really nice, really likable, and relatable, too, outside of, the assassin bit. She has a lot of relatable emotions that she goes through, a lot of pains and sorrows and concerns and anxieties that I think a lot of people can connect to some degree. So there's definitely that hooks you in as a viewer, and I appreciate that. I mean, we've already had just a cute, likable character with Anya. We have Lloyd, he's actually pretty likable himself. Even if he tries to be this mysterious spy dude, he's in reality kind of a goofus. Just trying to figure things out and not let his guard down too much. But yeah, this has turned out to be really fun. I'm glad that the hype for this series, as massive as it has been, I'm glad that the series is living up to that hype. Because not every series, for me at least, does that. Demon Slayer, for example, didn't live up to the hype for me. In fact, I found it kind of annoying. But this one definitely is. And Jujutsu Kaisen was another that did as well. So I'm glad I'm finding multiple series lately that are. So I'm excited to get this going. I'm excited to see what we have in store for episode 3. Let's do it. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, yeah, this episode is kind of what I expected it to be. Kind of the family dynamic being created here. With episode 2 introducing us to this episode had to focus on the three of them kind of just becoming a family in a way. They go from your moving in to just going and spending a day together, just hanging out. They go to the opera, they go get some food, they do all kinds of stuff. And they even stop a purse snatcher, which was pretty interesting. And again, I love that the show blends the more comedic aspects, the more like cutesy, slice of lifey aspects, with the more high action, exciting stuff. Doing both in one series is not always easy to get right. And I think this series really does get it right. So, all the credit there. Getting to see a lot more of Anya this episode compared to last, and seeing her interact with Yor is a treat. She's just instantly excited and accepting of Yor as her mama, and she's ready to just show her everything and completely bring her into the fold. While we see that Lloyd, name was escaping me for a second there, we see that Lloyd is kind of struggling with this all a little bit. He's having trouble figuring out how to handle things and teach Anya as well as his wife certain aspects of how to handle this upcoming interview and all. He's even considering giving up, which we know he's not going to do, but he's struggling, and it's interesting to see him in that kind of regard, because it's something that has been made clear he's not really used to, just as he's not really used to getting thanked for his work, which comes in during this episode as well. This episode also shows us that Yor has a little bit of a fetish for weaponry, which it's like, it didn't really show us that last episode at all. It didn't really tell us that. It's like, it showed us and told us that, yeah, she's an assassin and she's comfortable with her job, I guess you could say. But this episode shows us, like, she's getting almost kind of turned on by anything that could kind of be weaponry. Like, even just a painting of a guillotine at the art gallery, it's like, it was just kind of like doing it for her, and it's like, girl, chill. And a butter knife at the restaurant they were at, it's like, oh my goodness. this lady. And she mishears what Lloyd is saying when they're working through the interview questions and stuff, and she starts naming, like, ways to murder and shit. Like, it's like, oh my god. You're precious and adorable, but oh my god. But yeah, this episode was mostly just them doing that, just hanging out and really getting to know each other and see how they, in a way, work together as a family. And I got a little more information, I could say, in this as well. Stuff that I just didn't maybe pick up on before. So they are in Berlin. We knew that, but Berlin is specifically in Estonia. I don't think, at least I kind of put that together or, like, realized that before. And if I'm correct, based on the beginning, let me see if I can go back here without needing the audio. Uh, it's early on in the episode. I'm trying to find it. Was it at the very beginning? Yeah, here we go. Ostania is one of the two countries at war, or on the verge of war. They are plotting to put this war all out, to make it, like, just happen. While Westalis wants to foil the plans. So, Westalis is the ones that commenced Operation Strix. They're the ones that sent Twilight in to Ostania as the spy. And this kind of goes in line with what we saw in the last episode with Yor's friends, if you want to call them that. Specifically talking about how, like, this one woman was arrested because she was seen as suspicious. She was arrested for possibly being a spy. And it's like, there's apparently just that kind of threat where Asteria is concerned about spies being sent over constantly. It's a legitimate threat that they're worried about, so they're on the hunt for that, for anyone who might be suspicious in that regard. And so we got a little more information in regards to that, and seeing that they're working in Asteria, there's always kind of that threat on the surface there. And it's, I guess you could say it's implied as well that Yor is probably working for Westalis as well as the assassin and everything. So it's interesting to see if that's ever going to come up as, like, a major plot point. I also wonder if they are ever going to find out each other's secrets at any point. Either way, so we have a lot of just really interesting and funny moments in here. A lot of, like, good jokes, like when they're looking out over the crowd of people and everything. Because what does she say? She says, like, they look like garbage. That's what it was. It was like garbage. And he's like, where did you hear that? She's like, anime. And the first thing I thought of was Jujutsu Kaisen. Because in Jujutsu Kaisen, in, I think it's episode 8. It's the most recent episode I watched. I think that's 8. Yeah, it would have to be. Yeah. Maki's sister, Mai, I think her name is, she's at the meet and greet with the one guy. And she's looking over the crowd. She's standing up high, looking over the crowd, and someone's like, do you see that girl there looking at everyone like they're garbage? And it's like, it just instantly reminded me of that. But then there's also the part where Anya calls Lloyd a tsundere, and that just, I lost it at that. Like, that was genuinely really fucking hilarious. It was so unexpected. It was so unexpected. Now, speaking of expected versus unexpected, I expect that by the end of this series that Lloyd and Yor are going to genuinely have fallen in love with each other. We see in this episode that Lloyd has given her own room and everything, and they're both fine with that, but I'm eventually thinking maybe that will be a sign of, like, their love actually starting to bloom once they start having their own, or sharing a room. We'll see. But yeah, I'm definitely kind of expecting that to happen. There's already been little hints that Yor has maybe a little bit of a thing for him. So there's definitely stuff to work through with that. I'm definitely excited to see what they do with their characters and how they develop over time in regards to this. But overall, I really enjoyed this episode. It was really fun. It was it was definitely all about some lighthearted, just bonding for this new family. And I'm definitely interested to see how things go with this interview, which maybe will be next episode, maybe not. I don't know. I think there's only 12 episodes of this series, so they can't hold it off for too long. Either way, though, thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. Oh, one more thing I almost forgot about again. I forgot to mention it last time, and I almost forgot to mention it this time too. And it's wild I forgot to mention it last time because I think I mentioned it in the episode 1 reaction. I do know that Yor is voiced by the same VA as Yamato from One Piece. She has the same VA as Yamato as he does, which is really interesting. And I can kind of hear it. Obviously, the VA, she's doing a much different performance than with Yamato. Obviously, he's a One Piece character, so he's got to have a lot more of a exciting voice, I guess you could say. While Yor is definitely a lot more soft-spoken and a lot more cutesy with the voice. But you can kind of hear it still. Either way, just a little fun fact I thought I'd point out. Because I had seen this on social media. Before I even started watching the series, so. Either way, once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.